That's the very first magazine and very first Vogue that happened in Poland, and it happened in March 2018. And to me it's historical because I don't know if you know, but my background is fashion and also architecture, and it always was my dream to be in this Vogue, to be featured in this Vogue, especially illustration. Back then I just started to make collage, because I started to make collage in 2017, and before I did illustration, which I will show you soon. But I never even thought it's gonna happen. It was a dream, like, you know, becoming a millionaire. What chances, right? I guess we have to just dream, and sometimes when we work hard enough and having a little luck, maybe it's gonna happen for us as well. Obviously, I would like to illustrate for any Vogue on the planet, but having my illustration in Vogue Polska, it's a huge deal for me, and I am extremely proud of it, and therefore I want to share with you my little backstory, and perhaps it's gonna encourage you to never give up. In the meantime, I just wanted to take a moment to thank you all for visiting my YouTube channel and give a special shout out to all my new subscribers. I'm thrilled to have you here. YouTube is more of an additional space for me because my main platform is Instagram. Follow me on my Instagram for more content and easier interaction. Saying that, I also want to apologize that perhaps I didn't answer all your questions or didn't thank you for all encouraging comments that I am really grateful for. But like I said, I am not YouTuber. So that was a long introduction. It was very important for me. I am not sure actually if I should start from the oldest one, because also I'm getting many questions about how I got to this Vogue and how to do that, and I would like to keep the viewer interested. So maybe I will do from the newest one to the oldest one. Let's see. The Vogue Polska has distinctive taste, that it's very artful, has a lot of nostalgia in it, that's how I would say. Also has a nice, beautiful paper. It really represents quality. Also, probably that's why I wanted to be in Vogue Polska, because I really care of quality, and this is it. Like, I really love it. Since Ina Lekiewicz is editor of Vogue Polska, I feel like it's even more and more artistic, because she is a photographer. She really can mix cultural history with contemporary creativity and even a little edge and vanguard, which I love. Okay, so let's do a little opening, because to be honest, and we're gonna do it together, I haven't opened up the newest one, which is September issue, which is even greater because September issue is huge, right? So this came from Poland a couple days ago. I know I am a strange person. I was waiting for this for a month, because I will tell you in between how I, like, what was the concept, what was the title, and how is it working in general, like time-wise and briefs and things like that. I hope it's gonna be interesting for you. Like I said before, or not, probably not, but I wanted to say is, in the end, you can also leave the comments, and when I will get like 10 questions or even more, the more the better, I can make a Q&A. Let's open it up. Now it's gonna be a little noisy, so maybe I put music, maybe not. I can show you my address, so let's try to not destroy it. I have always an amazing experience with Polish Vogue people that I'm working with. They are very organized and fast, like no problem. I'm getting digital version the very first day when the issue is on, and then in about, most of the time, about 2-3 days, my magazine is by the doors. So it always amazes me how organized they are, which I love. And okay, that's how it looks like. Of course, it came through the ocean, and that's how it looks like. It's pretty much damaged, but it's only a cover, which is even cute, right? Like, I like how they present the magazine. And they are kind enough to send me, when it's 2 covers, most of the time they sending me 2 options. We will see if this time it's gonna be the same, probably. Ooh, yes, so thick, I love it. You know what, I had many questions why I didn't open it up when I get it from my friends, because they already sent me the pictures with an illustration and with happiness that they bought this magazine only for this illustration, because I am there, and it's so nice and sweet that I can't even express my feelings right now. But I think I am learning to celebrate little moments because I'm not the person that can celebrate. It's a struggle for me. I go from project to project, therefore most of the time I am just like, okay, it happened, done, next, right? And now I take a time and I am trying to take a moment to really enjoy it, because that's the dream come true, right? And now I don't appreciate it anymore. How has this happened? So that's the two covers, as you see, very beautiful and very different, so everybody can choose from. Now I'm gonna try to hustle, where is this illustration? In this case, because every single issue had different time frame, I think it was like about 3 weeks, because some magazines have only a 7 days, 5 days, or even 2 days. It's important to know that it's not the only thing we do, right? Like, we might have many projects to finalize, therefore 3 weeks is not really enough. And also we have to remember about time difference between Poland and Portland. It's 9 hours, and when I created different illustrations it was 6 hours, so we always have to keep that in mind. And also weekends, because those people have day off, so they don't pick up, right? So that's the very first time I actually see the magazine. I will have so much to read. I can't wait, because I am loving reading interviews and intelligent stuff, and I love watching all that pictures that really inspire me. And basically the whole layout makes art director Łukasz Aksamit, and he's amazing. He's such a pro with this. He really knows what he is doing, and I love working with him because we kind of understand each other. I love this woman. This is about, how to say it, that's gonna be a challenge for me right now, about brain print, which is like how in general in business fashion there's navigation and some kind of techniques, I would say, tricks, maybe that would be a huge word, but I would say techniques that lead us to buy things. So the thinking was something that explodes, right? Like I wanted to make a head that explodes, that it's overwhelmed, like kind of brain print, brainstorm, that kind of way of thinking. Of course, in that obvious way. And I created the very first illustration, and I will show you this right now here. That was fine, but it wasn't suitable for magazine. That being said, it has to be sometimes very neutral. It can be too drastic or political and too many things, right? It has to be safe. Therefore, I created this modern image. We always agree to black and white, and I structured this very first illustration I did. I was struggling with the idea and stuff, and it took me like 2 days or 3 days to finalize it, hours and hours in the studio. But I had this feeling, I always kind of feel when it's not really completely good, but I sent it because I still knew it has potential. And he said that, like, yeah, maybe it's just too strong, so could you create something like, and he mentioned the other illustration I just created, I can show you right now. And it was very hard to let go of that thought, to not repeat the image he showed me. But I had that one day when something just clicked, and I really finalized it quite relatively fast. Of course, the cleaning and then sizing and everything else, that was a different story. But in general, to finalize this concept didn't take me a while. I sent him like 3, 4 or 5 different options just to find like the finalizing effect, and he chose the best he loved. From that point, I just put the right size and everything, adjust, clean, done. Basically, like you see, it's just modern, black and white metaphor of brain printing or brainwashing, which is like this piece of fabric that almost explodes from your head. I also want to mention text, which is that essay by Kamila Wagner. Articles are really bold and nice, so I can't wait to read it. Okay, another one is the summer edition of Polish Vogue. It had 2 covers. One is not even open. I'm gonna make a lot of noise. This is how it looks like, and it had extra additional attachment, which is Vogue Travel. This is how it looks like. By the way, I love this musician, Dawid Podsiadło. He's an amazing young artist, and she as well, but he's more like, he has personality. He is awesome. Let's see. This one is about music in fashion shows in general, and in fashion, how it works. And my way of thinking was, I don't want to put you know, guitar dress or like music notes, something that is extremely obvious. Layout designer Łukasz Aksamit, who placed this illustration like this because it was horizontal this time. And it was in color, but he decided to do black and white, and I feel like it looks very nice. The only thing, the detail doesn't look as sharp, because originally those lines were red and symbolized like, you know, like 5 lines. So like 4 comes from fingers, which is energy and movement, and then the 5th one goes through your body. And also 3 hands that represents, you know, fashion designer, we as people that is seeing it and feeling it, and musician. And my purpose was that it should look like made by hand, because in AI we can, you know, I think we should value handmade. This was all pasted with the tape and had a lot of layers that I purposely didn't glue, so you see the shadows and everything. That, long story short, this is how it looked like. The next one is Vogue Polska, that looks like this, and it also had 2 covers, but one I gave away to my parents-in-law. This one is from April, which is the spring edition. That's the very special illustration for me. I tell you why, because it's so crazy. I can't believe, like, how does that happen? I swear to my mother's health, that's exactly how it was. Let me see. This is about movement in fashion shows, and it's also about Pat Bogusławski, and he is Polish as well, and he started from being in London and really doing different things than fashion, and now he's famous, he's huge, he's like very, very good at what he does, and I would say a little pioneer. And he works with John Galliano, there is art director from Maison Margiela, and then they making this amazing shows when almost it looks like it's blurred in between fashion and performance. Like every step, every turn was a calculated move, revealing the true power of movement in fashion. It wasn't just about wearing the clothes, but it was about living in them, breathing with them. So it was kind of like performance, that weird personas, that moving, that they cooperate with fashion, that everything goes so beautifully together. And it showed us how fashion can transform into a living, dynamic art form, a perfect inspiration for my illustration for Polish Vogue. What's interesting about this illustration is that years ago, I did collage with Pat Bogusławski. I won't show you this collage because it's so old school, and I really progress. I hope this is how I feel like I progress with my artwork, and that collage was fine, but it wasn't the best, you know. And on top of it, when I saw Maison Margiela show, I put on my Instagram 2 images, like from one side it was a slideshow of my work, and on the other side was the show, and I wrote like, if my art would be a human, that would be it, because I believe my art is a little weird, artful, like fine art a little bit, but also maybe strange, with like personality and stuff like that. And then here I am illustrating about this essay about A, Pat Bogusławski, B, John Galliano, which I really love. Like back time I wasn't sure, but now that show was amazing. Like really, like every single piece, every single detail was just absolutely spot on. And on top of it, my son Margiela, which I would love working with him with my illustration. I say it aloud because they say you have to dream big and say it aloud, so maybe people that wish you well, it's like some kind of energy, whatever, you know how it is. Probably not sure if it's possible, but again, it was possible with Vogue, and I never dream of, so maybe we should dream big. This illustration I did basically in the kitchen, because we were in Tampa, Florida, and I don't have a studio like here in Portland. I just have some glue, some Bristols and stuff, but that is not full studio, which is another thing. Like sometimes it's good, in my opinion, working with not many things, because then the creativity like really jumps through, you know. So sometimes less is more. I think I did 2 more different illustrations, but this one was the very first one, and I felt like I have a flow. I had a flow and I really wanted to do handmade as well. So there's like a, you know, female and male in it, which is great because it's always good to have like a different kind of people. Also the movement, I folded the material, the paper as a material because I wanted to be like moving fabric that, you know, resonates with the topic. And the figure looks like kind of zombie because that was also the show atmosphere. If you will see the show, I can link it down below. You will understand what I'm talking about. He really loved that one, and I feel it looks amazing here. And also, of course, Pat Bogusławski is here, and he is amazing. And I heard many interviews with him, and he is modest, and at the same time he beautifully talks about his progression and now who he knows and like how he works, and like everything goes so well, which I would wish everybody who works hard and believes in what he does like could accomplish that. Of course it's not possible, but that would be amazing. It's quite a lot, I would say. And then the last one, which is the first one, and I tell you how I got this job. Vogue leaders that happened in 2022. The long story short, and you won't believe, because I wouldn't believe myself if I hear that, but we were, I remember that day because you remember that vividly when something just clicks and you almost feel like it's impossible to be true. But I was with my husband here in Portland and we were hiking, and on the way back we talk about our bucket lists. Of course everybody has some bucket list, and my bucket list is huge because I like to explore and learn. And I said, but with, you know, huge shyness, oh, I would love to be in a Vogue magazine. I mean, not me, I mean me too, of course, but but basically my illustration in Vogue magazine. But of course, like saying that aloud to Lucas, at the same time I thought that I am ridiculous even saying that, because hello, this is like not possible at all. And I don't remember exactly if that was very next day. I believe it was very next day, but maybe it was, you know, we probably were hiking Saturday, so maybe that was Monday. I am getting email that I would like to illustrate for Vogue Polska. And I was like, no way. I just shut down this email. I mean, walk a little bit, and then starting to be even suspicious that it's a scam, because I used to get scams like that, like, oh, please illustrate and blah, blah, blah. And then I was even Googling that woman that sent it to me, but everything was there, like a legit sign and everything. So most of the time when you work with magazine, you need some kind of paper that you sign up, so everything is legit. And most of the time, just to let you know, they give you amount of money. They still have a right not to print it. So you're always in stress till the end, but if they don't print it, they give you 50% of payment. But of course, it didn't happen, like everything was fine. So basically, and that was a Vogue Leaders, like I said, it's like a special edition, once in a while they're doing it. So in it, it's my very first illustration for Vogue, surprisingly, in color. And the funny story is that I can't find the original traditional collage with my hand paint elements. Usually when I finalize collage like this, I put it in between books, but I have many books and I have no clue where I put it. It's gonna be a nice surprise after years, because it's already like 2 years and I still couldn't detect it. But to be honest, I didn't search it really, but I would like to find it one day. So basically it was about the rhythm of the word, and the article was written by Katarzyna Kasia. Basically it was about changes, and I wanted to do changes like, you know, like, of course it's a metaphor, so that person is in black and white, which means this metaphor of being quite depressed and sad and not in a place, and all those colors, that's the moments that slowly make you happy, and those changes that are important in order to grow and things like that. As well, in this case, I presented 3 illustrations, I believe. And the funny story was, of course, when you send it, you are stressed out, right? And on top of it, it's a different time. I mean, the time difference. So I was like checking out my email if they approved and they like it. And they were kind enough actually to write to me after 2 days. Hey, I am just letting you know that don't be stressed, but we just can't decide which one we want because we like them so much. And of course they were sketches, which means in my case, I sending concepts of collages, and then when they pick one, I finalize it so it's ready to roll. So they couldn't decide. But I am so grateful. And she said that because my stress level usually skyrockets because I'm always overthinking and, you know, worry if everything's fine. Because of course we care for that, right? I believe many artists want to be in Vogue because it's prestige and, you know, it proves something that we are good at. And being, of course, featured more than once, it's even better because that means that, yes, we perform very well as an artist. Which is huge nobilization. That gives me a lot of self-confidence here and there. Of course, not always. I have my days, like everybody. But that was the question I always got, like, how did you get to Vogue? We want to be in Vogue, you know, this is like a major thing to go to. My simple answer is because I ask the same question, they say as simple as Instagram. So that being said, maybe Instagram is not good now anymore. The algorithms are really bad. Everybody says so, but it still doesn't, if we don't try and we quit, we have zero chance. But we still keep trying, at least we have some chance. It doesn't guarantee, but we have some chance. And of course, when we're trying, then we're growing and we perform better and better. So that's why I encourage you, never give up, do your own thing. Don't compare yourself because that's the worst. Don't compare to me, don't compare to anybody else. Just do your own job. You are also free to always write to somebody. Of course, it's very hard to get to those people. I was lucky enough, but also I feel like I proved something by showing my work that was good enough for Vogue. And then because I performed first time good, they hired me over and over again, which is really huge for me, especially that these times, you know, magazines are quite dead and it's very hard to get to any magazine without let's face it, without knowing anybody. And I don't have any connections, to be honest. And I am happy that it happened to me. And I wish it to everybody. So everybody is as happy as I am. And in the end, I sweat right now because there is like 100 degrees. I forgot to put air condition. And I tried to be fancy with my jacket and even painted my nails. However, I want to show you the last magazine that is not Vogue as a bonus, but it's my very first printing illustration, actually illustrations for magazine that doesn't exist anymore. But I am extremely happy I had occasion to be featured in this magazine because I tell you again a story. Every birthday I used to go to the mall to buy something from Sephora, like something to myself, spoil myself. And sometimes I go also to Anthropology, right? And I spot this magazine. It was, of course, different issue. And I flip it, I'm like, wow, this quality, this is so amazing. And I saw that there's illustrations in it, and I was mesmerized by the quality, especially that the philosophy of this magazine is that none of these models are retouched, and they didn't use advertisement in it. That being said, unfortunately, that magazine doesn't exist anymore. But that time when I got this particular issue, that was the very first issue that was in Barnes Noble. I can't pronounce it, sorry. I write it down for you. This time, I'm telling you this because sometimes it's good to approach. And I wrote just submission. That time I did illustrations by hand and then finalize it in Photoshop, preparing for print. And I forgot about it completely. Like I didn't even expect it anything, but I just took a chance. And then one day, I don't know if it was a couple months later, I'm reading this message. I'm like, what? I was extremely happy. I even know exactly where I read it when I was walking and such. So basically it was, I believe, 8-ish illustrations for this magazine that represent different personas. So that's the achiever. And I used Diana Reeland's face, and it was made by hand with watercolor and then finalize it and clean it in Photoshop. which I'm never great enough. Like Photoshop is not my thing. I just use it because it has to be clean for the print purposes. It never looks great only by scanning it or taking a photo. No. So that's another one. Maybe somebody guess whose face is that. If you do, you deserve a hug from me, a virtual hug. So that's another one, and that's Hostess. That was in year 2017. Oh, my apology, that was loud. 2017. I think it was something in between, or no? Oh yeah, it is, you see? There's more. Okay, so this one is intellectual, stylist, confident, explorer, and I think that's it. Maybe it was one more, but I just don't remember. But I think that's enough. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope in the future I will have more opportunities to make illustrations, not only for magazines but also for fashion designers mostly, and for fashion brands, because I feel I specialize kind of in it, because I feel fashion. I was working in fashion as an art director, stylist, photographer, illustrator as well, and also that's my love, fashion and art. Meantime, if you want to check out my website, I just updated it. So you can check it out, my portfolio and things. Maybe you are art director here, so yes, you can approach me. Yes, please. I don't bite. And if you want to just, you know, be friends on Instagram, please don't forget, because there I am almost every day, and there is everything. So have an amazing day. Thank you for watching. If you're gonna put a thumbs up and leave a little comment, even if it's a little hard, that helps me to go to, you know, to be seen by more and more people, which I care about, because I feel the more followers I have, maybe I'm gonna do it more often. I really wish you all best. Never give up, always try. Miracles happens even if we don't believe in them completely, and everybody has a chance. Everyone, each one of you has a chance. Just work and focus. Try to stay on track and trust the process. That's what I want to say. Okay, don't forget about Q&A. I'm going to do Q&A if you want, and have an amazing day. And of course, as usual, don't forget to be kind to you, others, and our planet. See you soon. Bye.